lovelies, and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to today's Read the Room video. So as you can tell by the title of this video, today's Read the Room is for the real. If you are new around here, Read the Rooms are a video where I do a psychic energy reading on a specific event involving multiple different energies. So I have read on the reel before and I will leave that video down in the description below, but that video was kind of like around the Tamera Braxton era. We hadn't had Amanda Seales come in yet, we hadn't had Garcelle come in yet, so I wanted to read on everything kind of post Tamera. So I've got here, I had to make notes, so basically for these readings I meditate on the situation before, and anything that comes through I've jotted down. So I have got this in sections. We've got Tamera leaving, we've got the relationship between the original cast and Jeannie's wedding, we've got the Amanda era, which is Amanda joining the show and then leaving the show. We then got the joining of Garcelle, is it Boy-View? I'm sorry, I'm just going to call her Garcelle because I'm not too sure how to pronounce her surname. So we've got her joining the show, and then we've got the future of the show. So I'm really excited to get into this. People have been requesting me specifically to read on Jeannie Mai more than anyone. So we'll get into each of their energies, and if you enjoyed the video, please do hit a lovely thumbs up, subscribe if you enjoy these types of videos, and let's get into this Read the Room for the real. We're starting with Tamera leaving, but before I do that, I'm just going to read you the people we'll be reading for today, their birthdays, their ages. So we've got Lonnie Love, she was born on the 14th of July 1971, making her 49 years old. Jeannie Mai, born on the 4th of January 1979, making her 42. Adrienne Bailon, born on 24th of October 1983, making her 37. Tamera Mowry, born on the 6th of July 1978, making her 42. Amanda Seales, born on the 1st of July 1981, making her 39, which I didn't know Amanda Seales was like literally close in age to Adrienne. I had no idea. I thought she was in her 40s. And we've got Garcelle Beauvois, born 26th of November 1966, making her 54. So we're going to be reading on their energies today, but first let's get into Tamera leaving the reel. So as I go back to the time when Tamera left the reel and she made the announcement, there's a lot of emotion with Tamera. Now, Tamera's a very emotional person anyway. She's a Cancer, if I'm correct. Is she a Cancer? Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. Yeah, she's a Cancer. So she's a very emotional person, but a lot of her emotions, as I go towards this time of the reel, just before her leaving, were very bottled and suppressed. And I think I picked that up before. It's like I can feel it in the pit of my stomach, like everything is bottled up within her. It's like I'm literally about to explode. I feel like it's all here, like I feel like I'm gonna choke. That's how I feel with her. It's like I want to express myself, but I can't, and everything's suppressed, like here in my throat chakra, and it's really draining. I feel she was very, very drained and tired towards the end of the show. And yeah, and I've got here, the first thing I picked up on when I meditated before turning on the camera was that there was an emotional imbalance. So not only was there emotional suppression, but she was constantly being pulled from one thing to the other. So she would go to work and she'd be physically drained. She'd come home and she didn't have enough to give to her family, and she'd be emotionally drained, and there was just this complete imbalance of emotions. And I've got here, yeah, she's being pulled in too many different directions. Not only was it the reel in her home, but she was exploring other business ventures and doing other things as well, and it was just almost like it's just complete overwhelm, drain, tired, no energy, had enough. Yeah, too overwhelming, strain on the marriage, as she was emotionally unavailable. Like, I feel like she would get home and it would just be like, I can't talk right now, like honestly. And bear in mind, she'd have to go home, she's got to be mum to her children, and it was just too much, and it did put a strain on her marriage. I definitely feel like it did, but I feel like now as we move, you know, she's got more time, I feel they're definitely in a happier place. But at the time before she left the reel, like everything was strain and stress. Tamera also, I picked up on, felt very overlooked. So she felt like she had a lot to bring to the table, being a wife and a mother. At the time, yeah, at the time she was the only wife and mother on the table. But I feel like, again, it's this suppression. She was never allowed to talk about it. It's like she had to be the silent one who just laughed along and wasn't allowed to have an opinion, wasn't allowed to speak her truth. I really just feel like she felt very overlooked and like no one listened to her. I mean, I even remember that. I'm not surprised to pick up on that because I can remember watching like the clips on YouTube and like her saying things and like they'd all just be shouting over her, and it was like, ugh. And she was never one to like try and get her opinion out there. Like once she said it, she would just sit back and be like, okay, fine, like you're not going to listen to me. And there was just a lot of that. I just feel like she left the studio a lot of the time feeling unheard and undervalued. Yeah, unappreciated and not listened to. And you know, there's only so much of that you can take, you know, before it becomes very, very draining. And she was drained anyway by this point. She wasn't able to express her true colours. She didn't hesitate to leave. I picked up on like when the contract, it's like she was kind of itching for it to happen. Like when the contract renewals came up, she was like, get me out of here, like I'm done. I feel like she was ready to leave. And I also picked up on before she left, there was a situation where, and I feel it was to do with money, where she spoke up and said, I'm not happy about a number of things actually, but I feel like money was one of them because I can pick up on money. And I feel like she was like, had spoken to the girls about this before, the other ladies, which would have been at the time Lonnie, Jeannie and Adrian. And I feel like she spoke to them about it and said, look, you know, do you feel the same? They all, I feel, kind of said they felt the same. Apart from maybe Jeannie. Jeannie said, you know, I've got other things going on, it doesn't really make a difference to me. I come here because I enjoy coming here. But I feel like she was backed up by Adrian and Lonnie. But I feel like when she approached the producers and said she wasn't happy, where were Lonnie and Adrian? It was like they disappeared in a puff of smoke, and she was very upset about them not having her back. I can pick up on that. She was very upset about them not having her back on a specific situation. And I feel like that for her was the straw that broke the camel's back. That was the last thing. She was like, do you know what? I'm done. Forget it. Keep your money. Keep your contract. It's not even worth it. You know, she'd spent so long being silenced, I feel. And she finally had brought up the courage to speak her truth and say what she wanted and how she felt. And the people she thought would support her and back her up didn't. And she felt very let down and disappointed by that. And so she just knew it was, yeah, that I've got here. This just confirmed her decision to leave. And that confirmed her decision to go. And she was like, I'm done. Which brings us on to the next section of this Read the Room, which is the relationship between the original cast. Now, going on from that, I really picked up that these women are not coming on this show as themselves. I really picked this up, that they are, which we shouldn't be surprised because what is real really that we see. But I just feel like they're really have been given roles to play, right? And they're not really allowed to go out of those roles. So when we talk about the relationship between the original cast, I feel it's like they want to present themselves a certain way. So they present themselves. So they'll often say in conversation things like, oh, you remember when I texted you the other day? Do you remember when I called you? We've been on the phone for like an hour. Because they want to appear as being really good friends, but they're not. And Spirit strongly came into me with this and said, it's the same as working in any 9-to-5 job. This is their job. You have friends that are your work colleagues, and you could work at a place for years and be these people's friends. And when you leave this job, you may never see those people ever again. And I feel like that's the same kind of thing with these people. They present themselves as being friends, but in reality, they're not like each other's closest friends. They're not each other's closest confidants. And that's why, that was it. That was simply why they were not at Jeannie's wedding. Not to mention, obviously, COVID and restrictions, because it's all for show. It's all for, you know, the show, the real, which is not so real. And that's it, really, because there's not really a relationship to talk on, because it is really for show. Now, that's not to say they don't text each other or they don't meet up for lunch, but are they really, like, besties? No, they're not. Like, if they were in each other's like areas or towns and they had nothing else to do for like half an hour, they might call each other and be like, are you know, what are you up to? But they wouldn't be each other's first port of call. The only people that Spirit are saying is Lonnie and Tamera, who I feel did have that closeness, but I feel like that's kind of lost now, which is sad because I do feel like they were very close. But I feel like obviously with COVID, that Spirit is saying that's made it a bit harder. So when we're talking about the relationship between the original cast, there really isn't much of one. Which brings us on nicely to the error of Amanda Seales. Amanda Seales is a very real person. What you see with Amanda is what you get. There's no front. There's no like charade. Like, she is what you see. So this fakeness, I feel like Spirit is showing me her going in on the first date, and Amanda is also one of these people I'm picking up that when she feels something, she's one of these people who can't hide it. You will see it written all over her face. So I feel like Spirit is showing me her in the, like, what do they call it, where they do the pre-read? Because they do that. They do like a pre-read before they go out to the show. So like a rehearsal kind of thing. And Spirit is showing me Amanda in the rehearsal, and she's looking around like, what the, like, literally, she's literally being like, what the. She thought, I feel, that Amanda thought that it was just you turn up, you go onto the panel, you speak your truth, and that's it, you leave. She didn't realise this was an acting gig, yeah? I feel like Amanda didn't realise this was an acting show. And that's not to say, like, they don't bring in some of their personality, but Amanda didn't realise, like, it wasn't all about, you know, you're having me on for me. Like, you know, she came to realise that you're having me more on for more than for what I represent. So she didn't like that from the get-go of how kind of fake it really is. And she was like, I'm not going to do that, and I refuse to do that. And which is where the clashes came in, because she's like, I'm going to speak my opinion, and I've signed the contract, so you like it or you lump it, basically. So yeah, one of the first things I put here is two-faced. So I feel like it was like the Tamar thing all over again. Like, people felt very intimidated by Amanda, and they're specifically showing me Jeannie and Adrian. I always forget Adrian's name. Jeannie and Adrian. And I feel like they would be so nice to her because they wanted her to like her, because really they're intimidated by her because she's actually just real and speaks her truth. And then behind the closed doors, they'd be like, oh my gosh, she's so loud, she's so this, she's so that. You know, they really they really were two-faced towards Amanda. But Amanda's a smart, clever woman, and Amanda is also intuitive, right? She's an empath. So you best believe Amanda knew they were be-arching behind her back. You best believe she knew. And that was it. I think I feel with Amanda, genuinely, from like the first week, she knew she wouldn't be re-signing the contract. That's how I feel, honestly. Yeah, people would be one way to Amanda's face and another way behind her back. Amanda didn't like the limitations and restrictions on her voice. So like I said, Amanda's character is very much like, this is me, this is who I am, you take me or you leave me, I don't have time to be pretending to be something I'm not, and I don't care to be. And she thought that's what the show was, until she got there, and then there's this script read, and she's like, what? You know, this is a talk show. But you know, it didn't end up being the talk show she had expected. So yeah, yeah, which left her, I've got here, feeling disappointed. And I feel she was disappointed in, Amanda thought this was a show representing women of colour, okay? And Amanda thought, great, I have something to add to this. But I really do feel that when Amanda really got behind the scenes, she realised that this show isn't as diverse as it appears to be, and that the picture and image that The Real puts out going into Amanda's energy, I feel she felt was not what it actually is. I feel her feeling like a puppet. I feel she felt very much like a puppet, like she was being told what to say, what to do, how to sit, what to wear, how to have her hair, and Amanda was not for that. She was like, do you know what, like, we're the panellists, we're the front of the show, like, should we not have a say? Now, if we can go back and have a look at Tamar, and obviously Tamera now, who wasn't allowed to express how she felt, this is a show where you don't express your opinion, and Amanda's not about that. I feel specifically Jeannie and Adrian, because they didn't gel with her so much, I feel specifically Adrian, do you know what, like, I don't want to say this, but I feel kind of catty-ish energy from Adrian, because Lonnie, I feel like, can rise above it. Like, she's like, okay, do you know what, I'm gonna play. I feel like Lonnie plays a lot of the time, she plays the devil's advocate. So I feel like Jeannie will dabble in and out of gossiping, but Jeannie's more like, this is my job, I come here to earn money and I leave, and she's very clear about that. She's a Capricorn, you know, so she's very clear about her work ethic and, you know, that she's here to make money. But Adrian, I just feel like she can be gossipy, and I feel like she felt intimidated by Amanda. I do feel like there was a clash of character. I don't feel like they really got on, and I feel like there was a telling of the producer to that. So we've already got Amanda being herself and being condemned by producers, and then it just being confirmed by other panelists on the show, and that was just it. It was like, you know what, this isn't the right fit. And that was the end of the Amanda era. Basically, I think it was a joint decision, really, but she was glad to be like, F you, I'm out. We have the entrance of Garcelle. Since Garcelle was on there, I think I saw them introducing her, and I think I watched about literally 2 minutes and clicked off. I have no idea what Garcelle's like on the panel. I don't know what her character's like. I don't know, but this is what I picked up. So I feel like she's taken over the role of Tamera. I honestly feel like she's taken over the role of Tamera, because when I tap into the energies now, I see a lot of opinions being spouted, and I see her saying things every now and then, like every now and then, just so it looks like she's being heard. But Spirit tell me, like, if you really concentrate, she's not really saying much, and I feel like she's there just to be, I feel like she might have kids and be married maybe, and I don't know, but she's there to be like a motherly figure, and just to be like the yes, like the nod and yes woman. And that's the role that they were looking for, because, and I have to say it's the role, because like I say, this is a cast. As much as we think it's a talk show, it's become apparent through doing this reading that this is a cast, and each of them play their own different role. And I feel that Garcelle has stepped into this older motherly figure who wants to be warm, and I'll be honest, I put here, she appeals to the middle class. The show doesn't present itself as it is, it presents itself as they want people to think it is. And I feel like Garcelle, when the producers were looking at someone to just fit this perfect say yes image, I feel like Garcelle fit that image, because I feel like she's not controversial, I feel like she's not very opinionated, I feel like she's happy to just be there for the money. I honestly feel like she's just there for the money, which, okay, it's your job, but I feel like Lonnie, Jeannie and Adrian all have a love for the real because they've been there from the beginning. But I feel like with Garcelle, it's like, I'm here to get paid and just nod and yeah, okay, what's the time? Yeah, okay, can we leave now? Yeah, okay, great. You know, get my paycheck and go. So I don't see Garcelle actually lasting on the show for a long time. I do see her being replaced. I don't see her lasting for a long time. Spirit's saying 2 years. I don't see her being a permanent panelist. Now, that takes us on to the future of the show. So, we've covered a lot, haven't we? We've covered a lot. If you've got this far, leave down below who has been your favourite panellist on The Real of all time to let me know that you've got this far. I'd say my favourite panellist ever to have been on The Real, she wasn't a permanent panellist, but my favourite person who has ever been on The Real is Jocelyn Hernandez. I think Jocelyn could have never been a permanent panellist because she is so controversial, but I loved her on the show. I loved her. She's so funny, she's so outspoken. I love her character. Love, love, love. As a permanent panellist, Tamera for me. All day, every day. I loved Tamera on the show, and it's a shame that she left, quit, / got fired, really. So the future of the show. Okay. I see a white woman joining the show, and I see a gay man joining the show, and there will be a change up in panellists, but I don't see Adrian, Jeannie or Lonnie going anywhere. I feel like they will, each 3 of them, be there until the end. I feel each 3 of them will be there till the end. I don't see them going, but I do see new people coming in, and I don't see Garcelle staying. Again, I picked up on this before, there is a shift in direction of content, and I feel it's to do with the audience and who The Real appeals to. I feel a change, especially after COVID. So I know for a fact, because I've seen clips, that they have obviously been doing it from home. I feel like when they go back into the studio, I feel like there'll be a different direction for the show. I feel the show will last for a further 3 to 5 years. Spirit are saying, where are we now? Because Spirit are saying 2028. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 7 years. I see it going 3 to 5 personally. But keep an eye out for 2028. Maybe they'll do some kind of reunion or something. Yeah, I just see it in the end that it fizzles out, because really I don't feel like they can do the show without any of the original panellists, and I feel like when it gets to the end they will all just decide, okay, it's time to close the doors, and I feel like that will be it. And I feel like, just checking my premeditation notes, I feel like that's everything. This reading was more about the show itself and the structure and the panellists, because that's the room we were reading. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I did. I want to read on The Breakfast Club next. I really would like to read on The Breakfast Club, and do Charlemagne the God and Angela Yee, DJ Envy. I would love to read on them because I think there's such an interesting mix of characters. So please do leave down below if you'd like to see that. I do hope you enjoyed this Read the Room. Please do join us on Sunday for Spirituality Sunday, where we talk a spiritual topic or conversation each Sunday on this channel. And if you did enjoy this video, then subscribe to join us for the next Read the Room on next Wednesday. Thank you so much for being with me today, lovelies. Thank you for all your love and support, and I will see you soon. Bye.